Got exclusive drip, that just off the rip. Styrofoam cup, come and take a sip. Count up with my hoe, cop another load, sell another load, they gon' get some more. Mac 9 a grip, that just off the rip. Interstate shooting, send them through your whip. More without a feel, I can see it clear. Motor roll flip, I can cop a zip.
Introducing the new to me, soon to be 22, 23-year-old LS swapped E46 M3. And oh, what a car it is, to say the least. It was built by a gentleman named Bryce at Solo Motorsports here in the Atlanta, Georgia area. He works up at the Solo Motorsports by me, but I found this vehicle off of the Facebook group for LS swaps, where there's plentiful information, how-tos, in collaboration on building these BMW vehicles. And so this was Bryce's third build. I believe his first, when I asked him, was an older E30 or E36, and then he built a regular E46 Vert. And he drove his friend's E46 Convertible M3 and realized they drive completely different. So somehow he set out and found a completely clean title convertible chassis from a 2002 E46 M3. I believe the color is called Carbon Schwartz. And the owner, I guess at 180,000 miles thereabout, decided he wanted to pull that S54 out. Not the transmission, but the S54. And he was going to put that in, I think it was a Z3 or something really radical, one of his other BMWs. Just kind of leaving this chassis, and then Bryce managed to buy it from him. And so yeah, his third swap. He opted for the transmission to keep the SMG and convert it to a manual. What that entails is you have to get a Spec Built clutch and mounting bracket plates to make it bolt up to an LS. LS2 bottom end iron block 6.0. I think it's a 264 camshaft, and then you have rods and pistons and all sorts of other fixings that were done at the time when the motor was being put back together. For me, I bought it in a completed project state, but there was still some work to be done around making it perfect, and I'm still working on it. Motor-wise, you had that front crank seal was leaking. It had to be done. If you know these E46 chassis, 194,000 miles about where I bought it, there was no subframe reinforcement. So first thing I did was get that subframe reinforcement before even trying to take it to autocross or do any type of spirited driving. Oh, she's loud if you can't tell. I closed the windows hopefully to make it a little better, but you can see she's straight piped all the way back, headers, and custom TIG welded exhaust. As I was saying, the convertible top has still, the shocks need to be replaced in the top where they're leaking. The struts, I have those. I have to get them in there. I just haven't had time. The top, if you can see, is an unfinished. The liner's been pulled off. That needs to get redone. The hardtop that came with it is from a non-M, so the trim needs to be painted. It's currently chrome, and the paint is a black, not the carbon Schwartz. Along with that, the body being 194,000 miles, currently 196, it needs some paint work around the certain areas. You can see what I thought was water spots seem to just be fading in age and scars. Despite that, I gave it a full 2-stage paint correction, detail, decon, and then I used a power lock sealant, which I use on all my cars. I had it on my Porsche and everything else that I have that I get to detail. A power lock sealant followed with a Coilovers wax underneath the sealant, and then on top of that, when I do a wash, I do a bead maker type of ceramic spray-on solution. So it's like 3 coats of protection. That being the case, she's probably due for a nice respray. Not to mention the build, while great and runs without any hiccups, this is an AC included build, and as such, the tune, she runs hot. When she heats up, she runs a little hot, and if the AC's on, she'll shut off every now and then, even if I raise the idle up, and that's why you hear that noise right now, where the idle is staying up a little longer. It doesn't necessarily fix the issue, but it does address some things. So yeah, she needs some work. The hood, so to address the heating issue, where she runs hot, ambient temperature is very hot, and for where the intake sits, without having to cut that front support bar and running the intake differently, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a carbon fiber vented hood, probably. That'll allow that heat to get out of there, and it should allow the power to go from what it was tuned for, about 465. I'd say when she's hot now in the summer, she probably runs about 405 on horsepower. So that'll be a nice big power boost once I get that ambient temperature under the hood down. Interior wise, you can see the red interior in the back. I actually swapped out the black seats just because it was so dark in these E46s, and I'll cut in some footage of the current interior. But the seats, when I bought them, the seller didn't have the front passenger seat, and so he only had one red front seat. That seat, when I put it in, wiring harness is kind of shot. I figured instead of just running one black seat, I'd leave the 2 front seats